Yo, what up, Street Dogs? Eric Kim. Alright, so another rando thought. Alright, so some practical thoughts. So my thought is this. Okay, so times change. Okay, so what I find so interesting with COVID, things have changed so freaking insanely fast that like the world's become a lot more interesting. So pre-COVID, I think a lot of us bemoan the fact that, oh, our lives are so boring, blah blah, just bored all the time. This is the most exciting thing any of us could possibly ask for in our lives. And it's kind of interesting because I feel like it's a general case of miswanting, is that people say they want a more exciting, interesting, dangerous life. That's why we watch superhero movies and stuff like that. But it seems like in real life, no one actually really wants to live the dangerous, adventurous life. And also we're kind of given contradictory messages by society. On one hand, we're taught, oh, live your dreams, pursue your things, and travel and stuff like that. But we kind of do it within the confines of our own little bubbles, and we kind of get scared. And so now in the time of COVID-19, it looks like most of us is kind of scared shitless. But I would encourage you to treat your own life like a movie, like your own video game. Treat your life like your own Marvel superhero. So some of my personal superheroes that I love, like growing up, Spider-Man, Wolverine, more recently like Black Panther, Thor, Superman, Wonder Woman, like all these great superheroes, right? And so what is a superhero? A superhero is, not always, but typically just kind of like a regular human like you or me. And what we're trying to do is augment our already existing human powers to become like demigods, right? Like semi-deus, which means like half god or part god. And I think even Enkidu, right? Like the epic of Gilgamesh, I think Enkidu, I think he's described as being like 1/3 god or 2/3 god or whatever it may be, but I thought the notion was interesting. Maybe we could strive to become 4/10 god. So basically the gist is, in our short lives, maybe a much more interesting life goal is for us to kind of strive to become like god-like and to become our own superheroes in life. So for example, I think about a lot of superhero movies and stuff like that, right? So if the Wolverine and Deadpool could go through all that mental anguish and training, can't I? Like the reason why I find the interesting character of Deadpool is that like I kind of like his cynical yet positive, optimistic view on reality, like the whole Ryan Reynolds character. I actually might rewatch a movie. I think it's a quite good one for morals and ethics, is that like no matter how painful and cruel life is, you could survive it, and you'll survive and you won't die, and that's where you get your magical healing properties. Like you still experience insane amounts of pain, but you could, given enough time, you could actually heal yourself and go back to normal or even become stronger. Like I almost like the notion, if they created a new superhero, like a Phoenix character, where every time you're cut down and you're rebirthed from the ashes, kind of like Phoenix, you actually become stronger. So imagine like, imagine if you're Wolverine, but you're cut in half, but every time you regenerate, you recuperate yourself, you actually become bigger. And this is where bodybuilding or powerlifting and weightlifting is interesting to me, because that's kind of what happens, is that every time you destroy your body and you rest and recover a bit, you actually become bigger and stronger, more powerful, and more intimidating. Oh, what a beautiful day today. Right, so it seems like that's kind of like a fun, noble goal in life, is where where every time we get attacked or whatever, we actually become stronger. So this whole mentality that like if you get injured, you never become the same, I think that's kind of a loser mentality. I think a better mentality is more like every time you get cut down and chopped down, whatever, you actually regrow, become stronger. So this is where I think even my philosophies of post-traumatic gains is kind of interesting, where I've experienced a lot of trauma in the past, and I'm kind of gracious and grateful for it, because it's probably the best blessing that I've gotten in my personal life, where I've experienced so much adversity. Because had I never experienced adversity, I would never have a reason or impetus or a spark to become so strong as I am today. And so I think actually like perhaps life is all about enduring the maximum amount of suffering, assuming that the suffering actually makes you a little bit stronger. It makes sure that like it's kind of good suffering or like good pain. So whenever I think about the good pain, you know, not like T-pain, but the general gist of the good pain is with good pain, it's the pain which stimulates you to become stronger. So like I've been lifting a lot of weights recently while stuck in quarantine, and it's actually kind of funny because actually as a consequence I'm actually becoming stronger and buffer. Like my hypertrophy, like my muscle mass, or you know, my gains or whatever, I've actually become stronger, and I think I actually put on more muscle mass now than I did pre-COVID. And remember what our homeboy Marcus Aurelius say, right? Marcus Aurelius Antonius. All right. So yeah, so I think it's really important for us to check out our homeboy right there. So so to think that what attempts to destroy you will only make you stronger, and in some ways you think about lifting weights, it's actually you are doing like a little bit like quote unquote self-harm or self-destruction, because you're doing like the micro tearing of your muscles, and that coupled with eating lots of meat, of course you're gonna grow back, becoming stronger, your muscles getting bigger and whatever. And so even with like, you know, our mental mind, like our stoic mental training, to be able to endure adversity, but to use that as a stimulus for you to become a stronger mind, seems like kind of a good idea. So the goal of life isn't to be afraid of adversity, is that like maybe sometimes you actually intentionally need to seek little small doses of adversity, because otherwise you never have the opportunity to become strong. You never have the opportunity to develop your mind. You'll never have the opportunity to become strong. And so it's kind of like, you know, would you rather be, you know, look like The Rock, or would you rather be some sort of like skinny dweeb, you know, chilling in your mom's house or whatever? And so if we want to look like The Rock, you know, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm assuming his like juicing or taking some sort of gear or human growth hormones or testosterone or something else. I can't say for 100% sure because I'm not him, but the goal is to look like The Rock. And how can we look like The Rock? Not by jerking off and playing video games all day, but lifting weights, adventuring on, and striving to become the most epic you possible.